Russia and Ukraine officials will hold their first trilateral meeting with the U.S. officials in the United Arab Emirates, where talks will continue in military-to-military working groups. U.S. negotiators, including Steve Witkoff and U.S. President's son-in-law Jared Kushner, are headed to Abu Dhabi, while Russian delegation headed by General Igor Kostyukov, director of Russia's GRU military intelligence agency, are also going to reach there. So this is the latest we are tracking, a trilateral meeting, military-to-military working groups between Russia, Ukraine and the United States. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had announced that the meetings would take place on January 23rd and 24th. Further details of the talks in the United Arab Emirates have not been released, and it is not clear whether Russian and Ukrainian officials will meet face-to-face. Earlier, Zelensky had said that he would only travel to Davos if he could sign agreements with Trump on U.S. security guarantees and post-conflict reconstruction funding for Ukraine. But there was no indication after the meeting that a breakthrough had been made. The two leaders have met around half a dozen times face-to-face since Trump returned to the White House last year and appended U.S. policy on Ukraine by embracing diplomacy with Russia. So U.S. President Donald Trump said that both Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky would like to make a deal to end the nearly 4-year-old conflict.
You know, what's happened here is there were times when Putin didn't want to make a deal, times when Zelensky didn't want to make a deal, and it was like opposite times. Now I think they both want to make a deal, but we'll find out.
Did something change that makes you think that Putin and Zelensky now are serious about it?
Predictions. There are no changes. I think that President Putin would like to make a deal. I think that President Zelensky would like to make a deal.
DD India's Akhilesh Suman joins us for more on the story. Akhilesh, what exactly is on the agenda for these military-to-military working groups, and do U.S. officials see this as a confidence-building measure or the start of formal peace negotiations?
Actually, Tanvi, military-to-military talks are very important because President Zelensky has been demanding for a long time that there should be security guaranteed to Ukraine in the face of any negotiation and in face of any ceasefire or stopping the war. So in that situation, there is a need, there is an utmost need that Russia gives a security guarantee to Ukraine, and also U.S. gives security guarantee to Ukraine. Earlier, there was a time when Zelensky was seeking security guarantee from NATO forces, from Europeans, from Americans, but not Russians. His whole understanding was that if Europeans and US gives us security guarantee, there will be no Russian interference in Ukraine. But seeing the history, I think that it was decided that Russia needs to be on board for any security in Ukraine, because Ukraine is insecure not because of Europe, but it has problems with Russia. So in that way, Russia has to give security guarantee to Ukraine, and that is why it is the meeting is between militaries of Ukraine, Russia, and USA. In that situation, it will be interesting to see that whether Russian and US are talking, though no problem, but whether Ukrainian military officials will also join the meeting, it will be also interesting to see, because Ukrainian military officials need to be assured that there will be no problem for Russian side if there is security guarantee, if there is a stoppage of the war in future. So I think this is merely not just confidence building measure, but this is for tangible solution of any military disturbances, either from Ukrainian side or from Russian side or from European side, because all the three have to come on board to say that there will be no disturbance on Ukrainian soil, there will be no disturbance on Russian soil, and there will be no disturbance on European soil, because all the three parties are scared of each other. So that is why this meeting is very important between the three military,
Okay, military working group. Okay,
Yeah.
given the lack of clarity on whether Russian and Ukrainian officials will meet face to face, how significant is this trilateral format, and what would count as a concrete outcome from these Abu Dhabi talks?
Yeah, this is the format, and it has happened in past also among the many conflicting nations, that the main conflicting nations meet after some sort of understanding is created among the parties separately. Like in Gaza peace talk also, you have seen that Hamas was talking separately with U.S. officials. Israel was talking separately with U.S. officials. So a peace agreement has reached in that situation. So I think on the same line, that Ukraine and Russia will not talk, may not talk, directly in the trilateral. They may talk separately with U.S. officials, but this format also works because, almost all points have been agreed. As President Zelensky has said in Davos, that just one point is left to for any settlement, and that is point of territory. So security guarantee issue, we are seeing that militaries are sitting, so security guarantee issue will be resolved in this meeting. Economic recovery, the reconstruction of Ukraine that has been devastated by conflict between Russia and Ukraine, these issues have almost been settled, as Zelensky has said. Now the territorial issues are very crucial, because territorial, Zelensky's position till now has been that he will not cede any territory to Russia. Russians have been telling that our operation will continue till we get our goal. So yesterday Putin also has said that when talking to Steve Witkoff that we will get our goals. So in that situation, I think some understanding has to be reached. And in that situation, only everyone will give their bottom line. Russians will give their bottom line at how much territory they want. Zelensky has to give his bottom line, that how much territory he can cede to Russians. And that is how I think U.S. officials will be in between Russia and Ukraine to decide further that what a midpoint can be reached. And I think that is why this meeting is also very crucial, given the fact that on territory issue, both the parties have been very adamant and very stern. Let us see how it pans out.
Okay, thank you very much, Akhilesh Suman, for giving us more details and insight into the story.